Hello, folks. Let's get into this cap. Welcome. Happy New Year's Day. This is Wager Detective, January 1st, 2025, 6:44 p.m. We're going to get into the Ole Miss versus Georgia game, Sugar Bowl. Let's get right into it. No longer Lane Kiffin is there. Pete Golding's taking over Ole Miss. 16.12 SRS, 11th best in the nation. They do have the 47th best SOS with 3.12 there. They did win the first round of the playoffs versus Tulane 41-10. We look what they do on offense. They pass the ball 34 times a game and they rush it for 40. So they're a pretty balanced attack. As you see there, Trinidad Trambliss leading the way there. 19 touchdowns as the quarterback for Ole Miss and only 3 interceptions. Having a pretty good year. He does have an award there, the H8. I don't know what that is. Oh, Heisman voting. He was 8th in the Heisman voting there. Pretty good company with a bunch of other guys. I think he should probably have been ahead of Diego Pavia. Probably ahead of Rodriguez there and a couple other guys, but he was 8th in the Heisman voting this year. If we look at who's doing what for the Ole Miss running Rebels, Kawan Lacey, 273 attempts, number 1 in the nation, 21 touchdown rushes. 299 plays from scrimmage and 21 touchdowns. They led all those led the conference or the nation, one of those. But he's up there. That bold lettering represents that, and he's their main guy on the ground. Kawan Lacey is what Georgia's going to have to look after there. As far as the touchdowns through the air, Dezon Stribling's got 6 touchdowns, and then Daquan Wright has 4. They have 23 through the air. If we look at defense and fumbles, let's see what they do. Who stands out as far as that? You got a couple guys. You look at Princewill Umanilian. He has 8 sacks, leads the team there. They do have 27 sacks on the year and 69 TFLs. 49 passes deflected and 8 forced fumbles, 5 fumble recoveries. So they're solid there defensively as well. If we look at their kicking game, Lucas Carnero, 24 field goals made out of 27, 125 points, leads the nation. That's the leaderboard. That's what the black ink means there. And he is 53 from 53 for extra points. So the guy can make field goals. If we look at what he's done this year, as far as game logs, let's take a look what he's done. Okay, so it doesn't really show what he's doing as far as the distance, but he's a good field goal kicker. We can leave it at that. And he's good with the extra points, so you don't got to worry about him there. The thing about Ole Miss is they're going to have to rely on Lacey. Chambliss is going to have to get it done. They do have the new quarterback coach there. The new coach, Pete Golding, taking over for Lane Kiffin, who went to LSU. They average 37 points a game. They give up 19 points a game. Let's take a look at what Georgia does. Okay. Georgia. Okay, so they're 7th in the nation SRS and 40th in SOS. This is going to be their first game in the playoffs. Had a pretty good year. Conference 7-1. Kirby Smart, great coach. Look at Kirby Smart's record as a coach. He's pretty solid. 117-20. Average SRS 18.87. Average SOS 5.61. He's fairly good in any bowl game. 0-1, 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, 7-1, 7-2, 8-2, 8-3, 9-3 in bowl games. And then if you look at like the big games, he's got 2 national titles. He lost the national title last year in the Rose Bowl. I would expect he has some revenge on his mind here. That was 2017 rather, but he did lose the Sugar Bowl last year. And this team's going to be ready to go here. 2023. Yeah, they lost to Notre Dame 23-10. They didn't put up a lot of points. Riley Leonard had a good game that game for Notre Dame. I think Riley Leonard's going to be starting for the Colts tomorrow. So pretty interesting stuff there. If I'm looking at this game, they've had a pretty good year. I mean, you look at who they've played and what they've done. Okay, Georgia. Look at what Georgia's done. Their game logs. Phone's running slow here. They've only turned the ball over 12 times, pretty solid, and they forced 12 turnovers. They're primarily on defense getting turnovers by the interception, and that's their shortcoming on offense on turnovers. They haven't played since the Alabama game where they won 28-7. If we look at them covering that 6.5, 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, 5-2, 6-2, 7-2, 8-2, 9-2, 10-2 against that spread we have today, which is 6.5. The total. Let's take a look here. That total is sitting at 53.5. If we look at, why is my phone? Wow, so dim. 52.5. 01, 02, 12, 13, 14, 15, 25, 26, 36, 37, 38, 39, 310 to that over. 53.5 in all their games this year. I would imagine that in a game like this, it's going to be pretty difficult probably to get over that total. I mean, I don't know why that total is so high. Yeah, I'm going to take maybe a look at what Ole Miss, as far as their totals, that should give us a little bit more clarity on what they do. We'll go back over to Ole Miss here. Look at their game logs. See what they do. Okay, 52.5 or 53.5. 01, 02, 12, 22, 23, 24, 34, 44, 45, 46, 56, 66, 67. So 6, 7, and 3 and 10. And it looks like if these guys lose the game, they do lose. I mean, what was they only have one loss this year. They lost to Georgia already by 8. And the line 6.5 here. And every other game they have. I mean, only lost one game, so you only have that to go by. Score does look like points can be scored. I know Mississippi State is pretty good defensively. That's one thing about them that I said. The only thing that gets me in this game is Lane Kiffin's not going to be there. Pete Golding, I don't really know too much about. Ole Miss scores 37 a game, gives up 19. They've had comparable SRS and SOS. They did win the first round game 41-10. You got to think that the defense isn't going to be that solid. So if you take away 41, maybe they score like 31. Georgia is probably going to score here. Stockton's probably going to put up points. Those guys, Lacey, Quan Lacey is going to probably score. If I was to look at this game, I would lean over in this one. I mean, 53.5 does seem high. I would imagine that's for a reason. Georgia did beat Ole Miss this year, 43-35, beat them by 8. It's a tough call. I mean, I definitely like this kid. I like Lacey. I like Chambliss. I've been talking about Chambliss all year. It's a tough call. here. I mean, they're rolling strong. You look at their last 3 games to close out the year. Florida, you could say what you want to get about them. They played a tough schedule this year. Mississippi State, low-key tough. Tulane, I know they're not top of the barrel. Maybe shouldn't have been in the playoffs, but still scored 41 against them. And now, in this game, you've had 10 days, 11 days, 12 days off. You've had time to prepare for this game. And you're going to be on a fast track there. This game is being played at the Sugar Bowl. What's that in? Let's take a look here. I know Georgia has primarily, this is Ole Miss versus Georgia. Look at all those losses. They won 28-10 last year at home. It's a neutral site game. I think that spread is a little too high. 6.5 is a little bit too much, considering they beat them this year. The problem here is, will they adapt well to this coach? I mean, it's just pretty much what it is. Let's take a look at their turnovers here. They got 13, and they forced 13, so they're comparable there with Georgia. I think the spread's a little too high for Georgia to be covering that. If I was to look at this game, I would make the call, and I'm going to make the call, Ole Miss plus 6.5 and over 53.5. This is Wager Detective. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all the major platforms. Follow, like, subscribe. I appreciate you guys out there. Happy New Year's Day. I'll talk to you soon.